Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another show of Sportscene on MTV, proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola, your favorite drink. And we've got another great show for you lined up tonight. We have Marie speaking to Caro Lelai. We have action from the Pacific Triathlon Championships that took place in Port Moresby over the weekend, as well as action from the Southern Regional Athletics Championships, also happening in Moresby at the University of Papua New Guinea. But as always, we're going to start the show off with this week's Sporting Briefs.
In the sports briefs this week, in the grand final of Capital Rugby Union at Bava Park in Port Moresby, in the women's division, champions Spartans defended their title to defeat rivals Harlequins 15-10. In the A-grade division, Wanderers upset their rivals 18-8. While in the Premier Division, Harlequins stood their ground to beat Defence 24-18. In the major semi-finals of the Digicel Cup, in Port Moresby, Vipers led from the get-go as they went into the sheds comfortably 16-4. It was in the second half that New York supporters began to show their disappointment at their team, throwing alcohol cans and bottles onto the field and at the Vipers players as well. Police were called in and the game resumed, only to be stopped the second time as spectators continued the assault. The game eventually resumed again with New York scoring, but the Vipers defended their lead and sailed home 28-16. In Goroka, it went down to the wire as Lahanis edged the Gurias by a point to win 15-14. The Vipers will play host to the Gurias come Sunday in Port Moresby. The winner will face the Lahanis in the grand final.
Well, there was this week's Sporting Briefs, and congratulations to Harlequins, the big winners in the Capital Rugby Union grand final that took place over the weekend, as well as the other clubs that also made it into the grand finals. We had Spartans in the women's grand final and Wanderers walking away with the double in the under-19s and the reserve grades. So congratulations to all of those, but also congratulations to everyone who made the grand final over the weekend. Digicel Cup action heating up, finals just around the corner, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the grand final of the Digicel Cup. We'll be bringing it to you on Sportscene in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. Also stay tuned, we're going to go for a break, but when we return, that interview with Caro Lelai.
Yes, welcome back. You're watching Coca-Cola Sportscene. Thanks, Andrew. We're down here at the Bissini Oval, home of softball here in Port Moresby. And a very good evening to you viewers on this lovely public holiday, National Calendar Day. And it's also the Manus Provincial Day down here at the Bissini Oval. Our sports feature for this week is Caro Lelai. Yes, we have some great news concerning Caro. She's our sports feature for this week, so let's take a look at that now.
Hi, my name is Caro Lelai and I'm from Rigo. And I'm married, I play basketball. In order to play basketball, I have to work to make money. So I'm a lawyer in my working life. I have 4 lovely children, many dogs, and a loving husband at home. Well, I first started playing basketball in school as part of the inter-school competition. But I didn't really get into playing basketball at domestic level until I got into uni when a very good friend of mine, Jennifer Mararoa, got me to play with the Jazz Basketball Club. And back then we used to play at the Hall of Basketball Courts. And that's when I started, of course, making a name for myself in basketball and started representing the country a little bit. Since then, I've moved on from Jazz and I moved to Exodus, where I've been, and I still remain now as an administrator in the club. I would say probably between 15 to 20 years if I take it back to my high school days, and please don't ask me my age. The first time I represented Papua New Guinea was in the 2003 Pacific Games in Fiji. If I recall correctly, we came fifth in those games. I then captained our team to the mini games in Palau in 2005. We got silver in those games. I then took a little break to have my two daughters, and my last games was 2011 in New Caledonia, and since then I have retired from playing at that level. In terms of basketball, the highlight for me would be beating the Fijian national team in the last Pacific Games. PNG women have not beaten Fiji since 1991, literally 20 years earlier when we had the last games here in Papua New Guinea. So 20 years later we beat them in New Caledonia. In that game, that's the only international game I played where I top scored, and I also top rebounded both offensive and defensive, so that's my highlight. It's a passion, it's a sport that I love playing it. When I'm on the court I forget about everything else on the side, so it also helps me to de-stress from work, and of course that means then healthy lifestyle. Basketball for me is also about community service, and it's a tool through which I am able to give back to society and to teach, in particular, the younger generation of today, life skills such as teamwork and self-discipline, self-sacrifice, leadership. And this is something that not only I am passionate about doing, but these are values that at the Exodus Basketball Club, these are values that we strive to promote in everything that we do, not just to win the game. Well, I think sport has become very much a part of my personal life. I have very supportive people around me, not only at work but also at home. My husband and my children are very supportive. I come from a sporting family. My father's side are all netballers and Aussie rule and cricket, and my mother's side they're tall guys, so softball all the time. And my husband's people are also very good with hockey and soccer, so sport is naturally a big part of our family life. And I've been blessed that I have worked at institutions where they're very supportive of sport at the national level as well, which has allowed me to compete internationally. Oh my, that's a very tough question. Well, I'd probably be in softball or netball, I think. Yes, I used to play netball when I was a lot younger. In those days we had a club here in Port Moresby, which was our village club from Wood Lagoon, and it was called Koboni. So I used to play netball at Rita Flynn with the Koboni netball with all my relatives. Judging from what I had been told about what basketball was like and the popularity of the sport before I started playing here in Port Moresby and where it is now, the sport is probably lost in the popularity stakes and not as popular as netball and rugby union and other sports out there for all sorts of reasons. We now have a new executive in place in the Basketball Federation, and I am a part of that executive as secretary. And one of the objectives we've set for ourselves is to rebuild that image of basketball as a family-oriented sport through which we promote healthy living and all the life skills we talk about. And one of the challenges we have today is to try and re-stimulate interest at the junior levels in order to get the talent flowing through.
Yes, and we'll have more of Caro's interview after the break. Just to make a mention, the Pacific Islands Triathlon Championships were held over the weekend. Yes, the PNG Triathlon Association's first ever international event held right here on home soil. A big congratulations to Team PNG who came in first, yes, through Lee Rasmussen, who clocked the time 1 hour, 5 minutes and 4 seconds. And also his teammate Anthony Hoyle, who came in third for Team PNG, clocking 1 hour, 5 minutes and 47 seconds. So congratulations to Team PNG, job well done. We'll go for a break. Coming up on the other side, we have the second part of Caro Lelai's interview. Welcome back, and you're watching Coca-Cola Sports Scene. Glad you could join us. Now we take a look at the second part of our interview for our sports feature for this week on Caro Lelai.
We do have 2015 coming up. The Basketball Federation has just announced its training squad of about 50 men and 35 women. We have a couple of lead-up international tournaments that we are planning for. The first one will be the Pacific Open Championships in New Zealand in late November. We haven't attended that tournament for quite some time, so this is all part again of our executives' plan to revive basketball and ensure that we also get the international exposure that we need for our teams in order for them to be competitive come the Pacific Games on home soil. Yes, I was nominated by the Women in Sports Committee, which is a committee of the PNG Olympic Committee. They nominated me for a global sports mentoring program, which is sponsored by the U.S. State Department and ESPN, together with the University of Tennessee. And I was fortunate enough to make the top 17 in order to be able to participate in this program, and I'll be away for a month in the United States, being mentored over there by the president of the WNBA. And for those of you who follow basketball, the WNBA is the women's equivalent of the NBA. So this is I think a big deal, and I'm actually feeling a little bit nervous about working with such a high profile person. Well, I didn't know about the scholarship, but the Women in Sports Committee was approached through the Olympic Committee, was approached by the local embassy here in Port Moresby to nominate someone, and they decided to nominate me, so they got in touch with me to fill out the papers and send them in, which I did. Oh my, that was a big shock. I didn't really think I would make it. So I thought maybe I still have a little bit more to do before I reach that sort of a level for this kind of scholarship. But I was very excited, very stoked, and everybody here at the PNG Olympic Committee, Women in Sports, basketball and everything else I'm involved in sports here in PNG, everybody is very happy. The chairman of our Athletes Commission last week said to me, and I think this is very true, that my successful nomination in this program in itself is empowering for Papua New Guineans, in particular for our women. And so when I go, I'm not only representing myself, I'm carrying our flag, of course. I'm an ambassador of our country, and I hope I do our country proud while I'm over there. Oh please, don't wait. I wish you took up basketball yesterday. Basketball is a good sport, and once we teach you the basic skills, you will really enjoy playing on the court. For parents, I always encourage all parents, and I'm actually going to talk not just about basketball, but all team sports, and no offense to the individual sports intended, but in relation to all team sports, I always encourage parents to get their kids into team sports, because the direction in which the world is moving, you work in teams, not only on the sporting field, but also in your place of work. It's now about teamwork and working in groups. So for kids who are already involved in playing team sports, it's a lot easier for them to adjust when they finally get into working and having to be part of a group. They understand having protocols and hierarchies and who is the leader and everybody's place on the team. So team sports, I encourage everybody, not only the women and girls, boys as well, get involved in team sports. It's also a healthy way of using up your energy, keeps you focused on positive things, and I think there's medical evidence out there as well to prove that you play sports is good for your concentration and all of that, and de-stress, of course, from work.
Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best, and hope we can speak to you when you get back.
Thank you very much. And if I could just say lastly, I'd like to thank all people that have been involved in my nomination, in particular the TNG Olympic Committee and the Women in Sports Committee, Obita and her team, and MYY and her team. I'd also like to thank the sponsors of the program, the U.S. State Department, ESPN, and the University of Tennessee. And lastly, of course, I haven't met her yet, but thank you to the president of the WNBA and her team. I'm very excited about this, and definitely I would love to come back and tell you all about it when I return.
And there you have it, our sports feature for this week, Carol Lelai. We do wish her all the best as she heads her way over to New York in the United States, and we hope to catch up with her when she does come back. Quickly before we go to our break, the Southern Region Athletics Championships was held over the weekend at the University of Papua New Guinea. Yes, up to 300 students took part in that, and we also had the likes of the sprint stars Toya Whistle and Betty Bura. So yeah, there you have it. Great stuff happening over there for the sport of athletics. We'll go for our break now. When we come back, Andrew Lepani wraps things up right here in Coca-Cola Sports.
Welcome back, viewers. It is time to wrap up a show for another week, so I hope you enjoyed what you watched this week. And remember, if you are headed down to your store, keep an eye out for that very special 500 ml Coca-Cola bottle going for 3 kina, only 3 kina. There's some great meal deals on offer as well with that deal. So as I said, when you're down at your local taco box, make sure you keep an eye out for Coke. And also keep an eye out for us on Facebook. That's right, Sports Scene on Facebook. A couple people have been going on and leaving comments, liking and friending. That's what we want to see. And I promise you next week, I'm going to read some of those comments out on Sports Scene. Proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola. That does it for this week. We'll see you again next week. Have a good evening.